Okay, in this video I'm going to be talking about how to solve an equation that looks like this, where we have a half angle, is what this is called, a half angle involved. We're going to solve it in the exact same method as the video right before this one, where we had multiple angles. The only difference is in this one where we had 3t and we worked with that, and at the very end we divided everything by 3. Or if we had 2x, we waited to the very end and divided everything by 2. This time, when we get to the end, we're going to multiply by 2, or divide by 1/2, however you want to think about that. So, the first step on this problem on the left, I'm going to take 3 and I'm going to subtract it over to the right. So 3 tangent of x over 2 is equal to -3. I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So tangent of x over 2 is equal to -1. Tangent is negative in 2 quadrants. It happens to be the second and fourth quadrants. And -1 as a tangent means that really this is -1 over 1, right? So that means opposite and adjacent are both 1. And if opposite and adjacent are both 1, that means it has to be a 45-degree angle in here. So rather than 45 degrees, because that's an answer in the first quadrant, we really need to say that this is 135 degrees, and this down here is 315 degrees. Now, of course, that's in degrees, so I need to say it actually happens in radians. But I also notice, before I go any farther, that these form a straight line, right? So that means I really only need to list this as one answer whenever I'm giving my solution. If this said in the interval 0 to 2 pi, I would say just the two answers here. If it said 0 to 360 degrees, that's even better, because that means I've already got my answers, 135 and 315. But since it just says solve, since we're just told to solve, that means that we don't have anything related to, an interval here. I'm sorry, we had an announcement there that threw me off. What we need to do then is we need to say that this goes up in multiples of pi instead of 2 pi. So what we're going to say then is we just need the first number, 135. That happens to be 3 pi over 4. And we solve for x over 2. That's 3 pi over 4. And it's going to go up in multiples of pi. So my very last adjustment is I'm going to multiply every single term here by 2. And that gets rid of the x over 2. That tells me what x is. So half of x multiplied by 2 is just x. 3/4 multiplied by 2 is 3/2. So 3 pi over 2. And instead of going up by n pi, it's going to go up now by 2n pi. And there's the solution to this problem. Okay, let's go do the second problem. First step, get the tangent by itself. So tangent of x over 2 is equal now to +1. That means we're going to have the same thing, by the way. You notice this, except the other two quadrants. It's going to be 45 degrees, but it's now going to be in the first and third quadrants. So I have 45 up here, and I have 45 down here. That is to say, I have 45 degrees here, and I have 225 down in the third quadrant. I notice that they form a straight line. So that means I can list my answer as one thing. X over 2 can be listed as 45 degrees, which is pi over 4, and it looks like it's going to repeat itself every 180 degrees afterward. So now, to get the x over 2, to turn that into an x, I need to multiply both sides, every single term, by 2. 2 times x over 2 just gives me x. 2/4 now is going to become 1/2, so it's pi over 2. And instead of going up by n pi, I make that adjustment and it goes up by 2 pi. And there is the answer to this particular question.